Hey guys,
Hello,
I'm Jamie,
and I'm David.
and we're here to talk about board games.
Specifically, all of the board games that we played in February.
Yeah, this is our second monthly recap. We did this last month, so go watch January's if you haven't yet. And we'll talk about February.
Yeah.
What we played, what we didn't play,
What we liked, what we didn't like.
and some stuff that was new to us.
Yeah.
So let's get into it.
Mhm.
David is tracking our 2025 plays on the app BG Stats.
Highly recommend it. It syncs up with Board Game Geek, so you can manage your collection there as well. So it's a really handy tool. So in February, we played 15 plays of 10 different games.
And if you
So-
saw last month's video,
Yeah, last month was more than days in the month of plays.
yeah, so less than half of what we
No.
played.
It's February. Oh, less than half of the plays. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a couple less days.
Yeah, so in truth,
Hmm.
February is it's a shorter month. I know it's only 3 days, but it's a shorter month, and it is a real busy time for me at my full-time job. And I'm actually going there this week, going up to where my headquarters is. So March may not be a strong one either, because I'm basically out for a week.
Yeah. So we'll see on that. Another reason, though, is we just played a lot more TCGs in February.
Oh yeah, we did.
Yeah.
For sure.
So we've been getting solidly into Lorcana. I've been into TCGs my whole life. I played tons of Magic the Gathering. Jamie started getting into them with Lorcana, and then we both picked up Star Wars Unlimited this month.
Yeah, so I had seen in a lot of 2024 videos that people were putting that on their list, and they were saying Star Wars Unlimited, and some people were playing devil's advocate and were like, well, that's a TCG. Like, would you really recommend that as just like a board game or a card game?
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why we tried it is because everybody that had it on their top list was like, yes, you can grab 2 starter decks of this game,
Mm-hmm.
and it is a solid, great to play, even if you don't do the trading card aspect of it.
Yeah.
So we picked up the Twilight of the Republic
Yes.
starter decks for Ahsoka Tano and General Grievous. And we've been playing those.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun for sure. Definitely we've been liking those. And looking forward to playing them more.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get into a little bit more stats as well. So our top day of the week, I think this was this the same?
No, so in January it was Saturday, and in February
It is Sunday, actually.
which is wild.
Yeah, and then I remember in January, Wednesday was our number 3.
Yeah, so Sunday was
Mhm.
the second place for January.
Yeah, and so then this month, actually, our second place is a tie. So Wednesday and Thursday. So Saturday really fell off this month.
Yeah, I think we had plans,
Mhm.
and I think we just we're doing more errands and stuff.
Yeah,
So that kind of all shifted. And then Wednesday and Thursday were just when we were trying to get some stuff in,
yeah, for
So-
sure.
Our top day was February 9th,
Yes.
which was a Sunday.
Yes, we had 5 plays of only 3 games, though, actually, that day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so 2 of the games we played twice each at one of our favorite local cafes, Blackbird Comics and Coffee House.
Mm-hmm.
And then later that night, we had a play of Clank Legacy 2.
Yeah, so we played 2 of those games twice.
Mm-hmm.
And then we played Clank Legacy once, so we had 5 plays that day. Basically every weekend we've been playing Clank Legacy.
Yeah, it's so good.
It should be no surprise that that's our top played game.
Yes. Yeah, with 4 plays, that knocks everything else out of the water for sure. Definitely, we've been trying to make sure we play it every weekend because it's so good, and we just really want to, experience all the story, and we've been having a lot of fun.
We play it every single weekend, and we love it so much. So we actually did a whole video about it.
Yep.
Once we hit the halfway point in the campaign, which is after game 6.
Mm-hmm.
So I will throw that up in the cards if you want to learn more about Clank Legacy 2, if I haven't talked about it enough.
No such thing. And then our second and third most played are both tied at 2 plays each, which are both games that we rented and played at Blackbird on the same day, February 9th, was Draftosaurus, which that was really fun. It was a very interesting little game. It was a little bit thinkier and puzzlier as like even just like a 2-player drafting game.
Yeah, I had seen some stuff about this game before that were saying it was lighter and it was like good to play with kids and stuff like that. I don't know if I'd play it with really young kids.
Yeah.
Because it does have that thinky element to it. I liked it because drafting is a mechanic in games. If you're not super into board games, you may not have encountered a drafting game before, but it's usually you have cards and then you're passing your cards back and forth or around the table if you have a bunch of players, and you're taking from the hand that you have, and then you're passing the rest to someone to take their choice, and somebody gives you theirs, and it just keeps going like that. Draftosaurus is drafting with little tokens of dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And I wish we had the game with us because they're so cute.
Yeah. They're definitely super cute. And it is, a lot of drafting games, they use drafting as a way to sort of, let you do like kind of an engine or a tableau building that you're doing, which really complicates those, right? Like for anybody who's an experienced board gamer, you think, oh, like that doesn't really add much, but like, trust me, if somebody doesn't know these game mechanics, trying to introduce multiple at once is a lot. And so Draftosaurus is great because it's really just drafting. Like there's elements of like set collection and pattern matching.
Yeah.
But that's just putting the dinosaurs together. Like
yeah. So basically you have a little board that you are building out. You're placing these little dinos in little pens, and then you get scores at the end of the game based on where they're at. So sometimes you want the same dinosaur in a pen. Sometimes you want all different ones. You want to make little pairs so they can be in love.
Yeah.
It's a good time. It's a cute little game. Very quick.
Yeah, we played twice. Like 40 minutes, and that was our first and second plays ever.
Yeah.
Probably less than that even, actually.
Yeah. I don't know if it's a game I would pick up. Like it's not needed in our collection, but it's something that like if we were out with people or somebody had it or somebody was asking, hey, do you recommend this game? Absolutely. Especially if they're not a like huge board gamer, you know, I think it's a fun game.
Oh yeah. And definitely in my mind, like I see us at some point, we go back to Blackbird, we're with a friend or two, and, we're just like, oh, this is a quick, super easy to pick up game. Great time.
Yeah. The other game that we played there, that we played twice, was Sail. This is a cooperative game. It comes in a little box, but it has a good-ish table presence. It takes up a good amount of the table. And you are taking your little boat, your ship, and you're sailing it to try to get to a different island. But along the way, there are different krakens. There's a storm that you have to pass at some point. And it's a campaign game, so things can get harder and harder as they go. The way the boat moves is through a trick-taking mechanic, which is when you both kind of play a card, and depending on who beats whose card, the ship does different things. Trick-taking is a little more complicated than that, but like for this game specifically, that's really what you need to know to understand what's happening, is that David and I have our own hand of cards. We're playing against each other. We don't know what other cards the other one has. And we're just kind of trying to like, all right, I'm going to let you win this one so the ship can go this way. And then I'm playing a lower card. So hopefully, it has to keep going your way, right?
Yeah, it's definitely, it's kind of in the same vein of like cooperative, kind of limited communication as things like Sky Team. It's also very reminiscent, of course, of other cooperative trick-taking games like The Crew. But obviously it has those board game elements to it.
Yeah.
It's a really good time for sure. We liked it a lot, and we learned recently, we saw that I believe this year they're supposed to be coming out with Sail Legacy. So we're really excited to learn more about that, and we may pick that up over potentially getting a copy of Sail, because we were definitely into it, especially as a small box game. We're both big travelers, but if the Legacy version is probably bigger, but if it's small enough to travel well,
yeah, we might take that one, scoop it on up.
Yeah.
So other than those 2 games that were new to us, there were 3 additional games that were new to us for February. One of them is this little guy, Tic Tac Trek. Now, if you watched our January recap, you'll know that I talked about a game that looks just like this. It's in a tin that looks like this, called Tinderblocks Storm Edition. And that's because it's made by the same manufacturer. This is from Alley Cat Games, but this is an entirely different game. In this game, you are playing these little tiles that either have an X or an O, depending on who's playing it. If I'm playing the X's, I'll play them X side up. If David's playing the O's, he'll play it O side up. And once you make a line of 3, you put one of your little campfires. This is the O, this is the X. And you're basically just building this out, and at the end of the game, you score points based on how many empty spaces are around your fires.
Yeah, like fully empty. No squares, no nothing.
So the thing that I found very interesting about this game is that you could seem like you're ahead, but you end up not winning. And that's actually what happened to us. Is David placed all of his little O fires that he had, and I was like, and then the game ended, and I was like, crap, I didn't place all of my fires. But I was placed in better spots.
Yeah, so she actually ended up winning because hers were just worth more points than mine.
It was all on purpose.
It wasn't.
Fine. But it comes in a little tin like this, so we think this is a great travel game. Super unique. Another hit from Alley Cat.
Yeah, it's definitely cool. And I just always love seeing unique takes on classics. I mean, it certainly isn't tic-tac-toe in any sense of the word, other than the fact that there's X's and O's and you're making 3 in a row.
Yeah.
But anything that just takes something like that and just breathes new life into it, right, is super phenomenal.
Yeah.
These next 2, so we don't actually have them physically with us, but we played Barren Park and Unearth. And these are games that we rented from our local library.
Yeah, so sometimes in an area near you, there is a library that rents more than just books. And I had heard about different things that libraries can rent before, and I thought to myself, what if there's a library that rents board games? So our library system does not, but there is a standalone library that is local to us and has a reciprocal program with ours, where you can get a library card there, even if you're not a resident. And they rent board games. So this is not one of the ones we rented before. This is actually one we picked up after returning those other ones. But yeah, they have them situated in this little pack here. And then when you unzip it, all of the components are nice and organized in these little pouches.
They've got labels, counts. Some games had, this one has 2 pouches. Some had 3 or 4.
I've seen people do this with their games at home in a pouch exactly like this, actually. Oh, it's a little bit old, so it didn't. You just got to do it in a second time. No games were harmed in the making of this video. There we go. It's more reason to not put your games in these pouches. I wouldn't put my game in a pouch like this because I like having my shelves.
Yeah.
Right?
I certainly understand and agree with a lot of people that like D-box games to make them smaller if it's a game that really doesn't need to be. We have a storage system for some of our smaller games, several of which are games that weren't particularly small, but we D-boxed into a smaller one.
For travel purposes.
Yeah, so fully on board with that, but and I also fully understand why the library does this system, because boxes are just going to get beat to shit.
Yeah, so this particular month we rented Barren Park and Unearth. And both of them were pretty good. They were both happened to be games from 2017.
Yeah.
So we didn't get like super into the hobby back then. So like these were very new games to us.
Mm-hmm.
Baron Park was a tile laying polyomino game
Mm-hmm.
where that means you're just placing tiles that could be various different shapes in your bear park.
Yeah.
Park for bears.
And I love bears. They're one of my favorite animals. So when I heard about that game, I was like, ooh, yes, please.
This is it.
And it was a lot of fun for sure. We really enjoyed it. The tile laying mechanics worked really well, and it played very quick and easy to pick up for sure. Not particularly complicated. Not something that we felt like a need to add to our collection.
We have other things in our collection that we think fill that void already. It doesn't, it's not doing anything unique enough for me to be like, I gotta find this, right?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely might rent it again to play at some point if I was really feeling it, but we'll see. Unearth was super unique though, and that was your choice.
Wow, and I picked this because I thought the art looked cool, and there are like some of these cards have these little guys on them that I just thought were adorable. But after playing it, I said to David, like, this is a truly unique game to me. Like, I don't think we have anything in our collection that is doing everything this is doing.
Yeah.
So basically, it's kind of like a combination of a dice placement and a bidding game a little bit to me.
Yeah, it's kind of like bidding, but it's also kind of like battling.
Yeah, so you have a set of dice. You have 1 8-sided die or a D8, 3 6-sided dice, and then 1 4-sided die or a D4. And you take turns picking one of the monuments that are in the middle of the board and saying, I'm going for this one. You roll your die and then you put it on there. And then once all of the dice that are on that card add up to the number that's in the corner of that card busts, and the person with the highest die on there gets to keep that card. So like even if David had an 8 on there and I rolled a 4 and I made it bust because it was at an 11, David gets that card, not me.
Yeah. And there was just so many little extra things to it where you're getting these what are they called? Stones?
Stones, yeah.
You're getting these stones to build out little open hexagons to be able to put these ruins in as you're like building out monuments and things. Just so cool. Wonders, I think they were called.
Yeah, that reminded me of Honey Buzz.
Yeah.
But it wasn't as like that's not the main focus of the game. It's like a side thing that you can do. So I found that really enjoyable as well. So like it had that, it had auctioning, it had or like bidding, I guess. It had dice placement, which is my favorite game mechanic.
Yeah. And it was a super tight game too. We were 1 point away from one another.
We were. Did I win or did you win?
I won by 1.
I really thought I won.
But
I really liked it despite not winning. And this is a game for me that I think if I'm not going to go out and buy it online and like look for it everywhere, right? We have so many games. I'm not going to do that. But if we come across it somewhere, if I like see it in a resale shop, if for some reason it's still in print and I see it at a friendly local game store, something like that, I'll probably grab it. I think it's good.
Yeah, it's definitely a good game. It definitely fills some unique niches for sure.
Yeah,
I agree. I think your comparison with Honey Buzz, I think that's
like a little bit of Honey Buzz.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's got the elements of Honey Buzz that I like.
That's true.
Yeah. On to an update on our 10 by 10 challenge.
Yes. So as a reminder, we challenged ourselves to play 10 games in our collection 10 times over the course of 2025. And we're using this little guy to track it.
Yep. So for those of you that checked out last month's update, you'll see that this is mostly pretty similar. We do have an extra play of Life in Reterra here and 4 extra plays of Kalanka Legacy. Now, I will say we're a little bit behind, but several of these games are very quick to play. I mean, Life in Reterra is quick. Sky Team is quick. I mean, honestly, even like Everdell Duo is pretty quick. Creature Caravan's not even very long. So we're definitely off to a slowish start, and that's largely thanks to Clank. Clank takes hours to play, especially for us because we're really into the story.
Mm-hmm.
We role play out, all the moments and read everything with fun voices, and we make sure to stop and pay attention to what the others are doing.
Yeah, it takes a solid 2 hours, and those are 2 hours that like we could spend playing 2, maybe even 3 games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we've been making sure to get through it because we're just having such a great time with it. So even though it looks like we're pretty behind, honestly, if you were to average out like playtime of these, I bet we're pretty on pace.
Yeah, so we'll see how March is shaping up when we're done. Like I said, I'm out of town for a week, so that might impact it. But it's weekdays, not weekends. So you never know. We could be kicking it right back into gear. So stay tuned.
Yep.
And last but not least, we are going to talk about our all-stars for the month. So these are just highlights, maybe our favorite game, maybe a game that stood out. In our last video, David and I made a vow to each other that we would not repeat all-stars.
Yeah.
So last month, mine was Clank Legacy 2.
Mine was Life in Reterra. I mean, it still is those, but
we're not going to say that.
Yeah.
So these are our all-stars really for February. Mine is Creature Caravan.
It's so good.
This is by Red Raven Games. This was one of my PAX Unplugged wish list items. And we didn't get it at PAX Unplugged. We actually got it after, like a few days afterwards.
Like less than a week after.
And it's because it was at Barnes & Noble and it had the promo cards with it. So I was like, that's a sign.
Yeah.
But I'm so glad we picked it up. I mean, the artwork in it is just so cool and unique and good. And the gameplay of it is so good. It is 100% a game that you don't know what your strategy will be until you get your first hand of cards, maybe even 2 turns in.
Yeah.
It is so variable, and there are so many good mechanics that work together in such a great way that you just don't know what you're going to do going in. And I actually really, really love that.
Yeah, I mean, we've played it twice so far, and out of those 2 plays, we've done 4 completely different strategies too.
David has blown me out of the water both times because he's very, very good at tableau building, engine building games. But I still really enjoy the game. I still really love it. I love a game like this where even if you've played it 100 times, like you could, depending on how the cards are dealt, you could be on more even footing than normal with somebody who's new to the game.
Yeah, for sure. And there's so many really just kind of unique little things in it, and the way that the dice placement mechanic is handled and all the things that help change that and all the different, even just like different factions and different abilities.
Dice placement.
There's so much going on, but it all blends together in such a nice way that none of it is, super out there of like, oh, this just blows everything out of the water. I mean, it's great.
Yeah. We have a video in the shorts. I don't know what you call it here on YouTube, but it'll be coming out soon talking about our full review of this game.
Yeah. Now, for me, my all-star of the month, if I'm going to be fully just honest, which is kind of even still a little bit cheating at this, it would be Star Wars Unlimited. It was a lot of fun. I really liked it. Again, I've been playing TCGs literally my entire life.
He's a big Magic boy.
Yeah, I've played Magic a ton. I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Super competitively. And obviously Lorcana, and now Star Wars Unlimited. And so many digital ones. Oh my gosh. But Star Wars Unlimited, it's so unique in the mechanics of how it works because it's not simultaneous turns, but you're both taking the turn at the same time. Basically, one player has the initiative and goes first, but you take turns. You each just do an action. So it's like, I'll play a card. You play a card. I'll play a card. You'll attack me with something. I'll play some other card. You attack me again. I attack you. You have nothing else to do, so you pass the rest of the turn away to have the initiative the next turn, and then I can attack you twice more and then end my turn. And it's just this really interesting feeling of like a back and forth.
Yeah.
And especially, honestly, the theming of these 2 decks, right? we both love the Clone Wars era.
Yes. It's our
And
favorite.
so having, Republic Ahsoka Tano deck versus Separatist General Grievous deck is just thematic. It's cool. I'm making a bunch of battle droids. She's cutting them down with lightsabers. It just feels dope.
Yeah. I think what I really love about this, and that I actually understand way more than I do Lorcana, is that it is very easy for me to look at both of these decks and know exactly what they're doing and why they were put together.
Yeah. These are very cohesive starter decks.
David's right. With Grievous, you're making a bunch of battle droids. With Ahsoka, you're really playing on this coordinate mechanic where when you have 3 different things out, like units, so they're either people or they're ships or there's something along those lines. When though you have 3 of those out, you get bonuses. So that's what you want to do all the time. You're like, I want to put this out. I want to get this bonus. I want this to stack on this. And I can see it so easily. And I feel like with Lorcana, I'm still trying to grasp that. That doesn't mean I don't love Lorcana. I am a Disney girl through and through, and I really love the artwork on the cards. I love playing with some of these cards. And I've been getting into making my first custom decks this month. So, I mean, in the same vein that like Star Wars Unlimited was David's all-star, if we could pick anything, not just board games, I would probably also pick Lorcana.
Yeah.
Just because creating a deck for the first time myself from scratch and winning with that at least one game it was fun. It was satisfying. I really love putting cards in sleeves. That's just so nice.
Yeah, never gets old for sure.
Yeah.
So that kind of is it. Now, that's unfortunately not actually eligible because, we're just not tracking TCG plays.
Yeah.
So we're only doing like real board games for this. So for that, my all-star is going to be Sail. I had a lot of fun with it. I really love trick-taking mechanics. I like anything cooperative where you have to use deductive logical reasoning, And
yes.
Any trick-taking game, for those that don't know, it's a logic puzzle. They all are. You need to think, what is my opponent doing? What did they play? What did they not play? How is this happening? So that, you can't know for sure what your opponent has in their hand. But a lot of the time, with the way that trick-taking games work, because you must follow the suit if possible, you can learn what your opponent does not have in their hand. And that's really valuable information. So just like how we talked a little bit last month about how we were both really big fans of The Search for Lost Species, and how that's on our 10x10. I just love trick-taking games for similar reasons. They just scratch that thinky itch in my brain. And it being a cooperative game with this little bit of like a board moving element is just a really sweet game. And like I said earlier, definitely want to look into potentially picking up the Legacy version because it's sweet.
Yeah, I think what's great about games like this is that when it's a cooperative game, but you have information that you can't share with one another, that's what makes it a cooperative multiplayer game. There are a lot of cooperative games where you can do what's known as quarterbacking in the gaming industry, where basically you're just telling people what to do on their turn, and you just can't do that like this at all.
Yeah.
So I think that's a cool mechanic to it. The trick-taking element of it reminds me of on our Unplayed Games Season 1 challenge when we played Tidal Blades Banner Festival. That makes me want to play that game again.
Yeah, agreed. That's definitely another one that is going to get back to the table at some point this year. Hopefully a couple points.
Yeah. But that's it for February, you guys. Please feel free to subscribe if you want to see more of our updates and any new games that we're playing and our thoughts on all of these different games. We are also on other channels if you want to follow us in different areas. And if you made it to the end of this video, let us know what you were playing in February or if you have any board games you're looking forward to playing in March. But other than that, bye.